Hi everyone. So today I'm going to show you how to build a custom AI assistant using OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. Now, the purpose of building a custom AI assistant is, for example, if you're trying to automate a certain task or if you have certain tasks that you are doing repeatedly. For example, you have some complex reporting tasks that you are doing on a weekly or a monthly basis. So what you can do is you can actually set a predefined custom instruction and use it to build a custom AI assistant inside OpenAI's ChatGPT and also Google's Gemini. Okay, now we have ChatGPT on my screen. We will first explore how to create a custom AI assistant. There's what we call GPTs. By the way, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Okay, so please note that creating custom AI assistant or custom GPTs on OpenAI's ChatGPT requires a Plus, a Pro, or an Enterprise subscription. So if you're currently on a free version, unfortunately, this feature is not available. Okay, so the first thing, let's go back again. For you to be able to go to custom GPTs, you have to make sure that you can see this tab and then click Explore. And then once you click explore, what you will see on the screen is you will see this, it's like a home page, and then you will see below some custom GPTs or custom AI assistants that was built by OpenAI team or curated by OpenAI team and also built by some users in the community. Now, what you need to do is for you to be able to create a custom GPT, you just have to click create. And what you will see, there are two windows. When you click create, this is initially what you will see, where you could actually ask a question and then also the preview where it will allow you to select the specific GPT model that you would like to use. Now, what you need to do is to click configure. If you click configure, these are the options that you will see. The first thing is you will see that you can add or upload a photo. And then second is you can add a name of the custom AI assistant and then the description, and then also the instruction. This is where you write in the prompts. Now, you can also write a conversation starter. You can upload the knowledge, which will actually serve as the source of truth for your team. And then you also have the option to, if you recommend a model, let's say, for example, if you recommend like the latest model, which actually consumes more tokens, or you just want it to be more conservative, like you can just use either GPT 4.0 or GPT 5 instant. And then if you want, it's up to you. If you like, you want just no recommended model, users will use any model they prefer. Okay, now let's go to the cheat sheet that I built. Okay, so there are certain use cases, so depending on which vertical horizontal you're working on right now, you do have options to or automate certain tasks using Gen AI tools. Now, as an example, we're going to use finance and accounting as a sample use case. Now, the sample use case for F&A or finance and accounting is creating a custom AI assistant for invoice review and processing. So we do have a sample document here. I'm just going to pull this up. Okay, now an example document which is called Martin Zaldi and Co. Manufacturing Incorporated. Note that this is just a fake company just for quality and training purposes. This is not an actual entity that is currently it doesn't this entity does not even exist at all. So this is just an example document or an example SOP or standard operating procedure. Now, the purpose of this SOP, this serves as a source of truth when finance and accounting reviews and approve invoices. So as we can see like the PO based goods, the three-way matching. We can also see the guidance about withholding tax per, let's say, for the BIR. and then also the usual, let's say for example, the declaration of authority. Let's say if the invoice is between 25,000 to 100,000 US dollars, it requires a site manager approval. If it's 0 to $2,500 maximum, it does not require approval. So invoice processing team can actually process it by themselves. So this is an example SOP, or standard operating procedure, which serves as a guide. Now let's go back to OpenAI's ChatGPT. What we're going to do is we're going to use the sample sheet, and then we're going to like just put the name. Let's say, let's go ahead and think of a name like um, invoice room processing agent. Or just to be sure, let's include AI. So AI invoice review and processing agent. And then we can try to, let's see, include this description. So let's include this description. By the way, as we can see, it requires a maximum of 300 characters. So all we have to do is to trim this down. So we'll just have to choose at least the most important. Okay, so we'll just try to trim this down. Okay, so it says here that it has exceeded 300 characters, so we'll just cut this out. Okay, so we'll just cut this out. Okay, there you go. Next, we're going to go to the prompt instruction. So this is the actual prompt instruction that we're going to use. This is tailor-fit for custom AI assistant or custom GPT or GEMS, whichever tool you would like to use. Now, I know that it's kind of overwhelming. The reason for that is this prompt was actually customized based on this use case on reviewing this invoice aligned with this standard operating procedure. So your prompts may vary. It could be long, it could be short. It depends on you. But what's important is we're going to actually briefly discuss you this key components. Now, regardless of how long or short your prompt is, what's important is you need to make sure that your prompt needs to be specific. It should clearly define the task or question you want the AI to address. Avoid vague or ambiguous language. Let's say, for example, you want your AI assistant to act as an expert invoice processor, or let's say if you're in the process improvement, you want it to act as a certified Lean Six Sigma quality analyst. And then make sure that the AI model understands what the role is. Next is provide context. Give the AI relevant background information to understand the context of your request. Next is tone matters. You need to make sure that the AI model set the appropriate tone for the AI's response, whether it's formal, informal, or technical. Next is you need to make sure you provide examples. Include examples to illustrate the desired output format or style. This makes sure that the AI model understands the nuances or difference of the certain instruction that you're trying to ask the AI model. Next is experiment, test, and refine. Now, please note that there are times that you might encounter that when you're trying to build something, it could cause an error or sometimes a mishap. It's normal. What's important is you understand the problem and you understand and know how to diagnose and resolve the problem. So that's why there is an experimentation, testing, and refinement. So do not be afraid to try different prompts and refine them based on the AI's responses. This is the reason why we are seeing this window that there is a sandbox environment. Now, the purpose of the sandbox environment is for users to allow to test their prompts to see if they think that it's working as expected or not. So they can actually make the necessary adjustments or any certain modification they would like to make. Okay, so going back to the um, key components now, you need to make sure you understand or know your audience. You make sure to tailor fit your prompts to the intended audience, considering their level of understanding and expertise. Let's say, for example, you're conducting a training related to AI, and you wanted to make sure that the audience that you're actually trying to teach or you're trying to conduct a training um, ensures that they understand what you're trying to teach. So you need to make sure who's your audience. For example, your audience is like technical audience, like it's software engineers, developers, integration specialists, or non-technical or business audience, like let's say finance operations, HR, logistics, um, supply chain, and so on and so forth. Next is clarity is the key. You need to make sure to use clear and concise language. Avoid as much as possible, avoid jargons or complex terminologies unless if that prompt instruction requires you to do so. Let's say, for example, your SOP has certain jargons and also complex terminologies that is required for your workflow. Then you may include those terminologies if this is very essential for your instruction, but you need to make sure to that there is an explanation, or you need to make sure to elaborate those jargons to ensure that the AI model understand what it is. Okay. Now next is structure help. So organize your prompts in a logical and structured manner to facilitate comprehension. And the next is make sure to use reliability checks. Incorporate mechanisms to verify the accuracy and reliability of the AI generated content. So this is where the human in the loop comes in. So as a human, we need to apply our strategic and critical thinking to make sure that we are able to strategically understand and make sure that we are providing the best output for the AI model, as we make sure to for us to become the final decision maker. So we're actually the finals. It's up to us whether this output is okay or not. So this way, we need to make sure we also use human judgment. Okay, now we're not going to go through with these examples, but what's important is we understand what this effective components of effective prompts is. But these frameworks, this is going to be a different topic that we're going to discuss on a separate session. Okay, so next is let's go to the instruction. Now, as you can see, I'm going to show you this sheet. So we've used the chain of thought framework. Just to give you a brief overview, chain of thought framework in prompt engineering means that you're trying to break down subtasks to ensure that the AI understands each step of the process. Let's say, for example, you wanted to make sure that the AI model understands what their role is, what their primary objective, what are the things that they need to consider. For example, for every invoice, think through the following steps. So you wanted to make sure that the AI model understands what are the dues or what are the components of the invoices that they need to make sure they understand and review. Let's say classify the invoice category, PO-based goods, and then PO-based services. And then also check the discrepancies, including price mismatch with the PO. So it's actually up to you. Your guidance, your policies may vary, but this prompt was built because it was originally tailor fit into this guidance that I've built. So it doesn't mean that you need to follow everything. You just need to make sure that you already have an established um, policy that is um, basically built on a more contextual way, which means that it has all the necessary information like the key details. Let's say, for example, you're reviewing an invoice, making sure that the AI model needs to verify that there is a PO or purchase order on the invoice before you approve it. Okay, so we can also see in this prompt like the visible output format. It says here that this prompt is optimized for both ChatGPT and Gemini. Okay, so just to set expectation, it doesn't matter how long or short your your custom prompt instruction is. What's important is you need to make sure that you have all the contextual details that you need that would vary depending on your use case or your business. Okay, so we're going to use this as an instruction and we're going to go back to the custom GPT. Okay, and then for the conversation starter, I can actually, let's see, and set this if I could provide an example. Sorry, I think my internet just uh, restarted. Okay, so for now, we're not going to use a conversation starter. But let's see. Let's try to, let's say, can you can you review this invoice and confirm if this this complies with our company, if this comply with our company policy. We're just going to add a conversation starter. Now for the knowledge, you have the option to actually upload a knowledge. What we're going to do here is I'm just going to download this document as a PDF, which will serve as a source of truth. Now, the purpose of this document is to ensure that the custom GPT understands that this document is the source of truth when it comes to reviewing the invoice. Now, let me just make sure that I was able to download it. So there you go. Okay, so for the capabilities, you have the option whether you wanted to use web search, canvas, image generator. For now, since we wanted to make sure that the custom GPT is tailor fit to the knowledge that we have provided, so I'm just going to turn this off. Now for create new actions, this is going to be a different story. We're not going to use this because it's on a different use case, so you can just disregard this. Now, there is an advanced setting here that use conversation data on your GPT to improve our models. Now, for data privacy, some companies or users do not want their data to be used for as a training data for AI models. So what you can do is you have the option to just turn this off. So if you do not want your data to be used for training the AI model, make sure that this is turned off. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to click create. So you have the option whether you're the only person who has access to this or anyone with the link, or you can actually curate this to a GPT store. So in my case, I'll just probably um, categorize this as productivity and then tailor fit this as a GPT store. So let's just go ahead and wait while it's generating. In the meantime, while waiting, so let's go to Gemini. So Gemini is Google's AI platform. So what we're going to do is all you have to do is to click this for you to be able to go to GEMS. Now, just to reiterate, GEMS is the Gemini's version for custom GPT or custom AI assistant. So what you need to do is just go to Explore GEMS. What you will see at the bottom, usually you will see the gems that you have already created. If you don't see anything here, which means that you haven't created anything yet. Now, as far as my knowledge, Gems is available for the free version. Unlike with OpenAI's ChatGPT, that in order for you to create a custom AI assistant or a custom GPT, you need to make sure that you're subscribed to the Plus version. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is you just have to um, click New Gem. And then compared to custom GPT, the interface is much simpler. Same thing with ChatGPT, you can see the sandbox environment where you can test the prompt. Now, what you can see here is the name, the description, and then the instruction, which is the prompt, and then the knowledge. So um, for the gems, you have the option to either upload the document from your device or you can upload this directly from Google Drive. So the question is, can I upload my document using Microsoft's OneDrive? So the answer is no. Why? Because Gemini is part of Google's AI ecosystem, which includes Google Workspace. Okay, so what we're going to do is we will go back to the custom GPT. Will probably use the same title. So let's just click this one. Let's just use the same title. And then, I'm sorry, I mean the same description and then the same title. And then we're going to use the same prompt that I've used earlier. We're just going to use this. And then for the knowledge, we'll just probably upload like um, this document. And then let's pull the sample document here. Sorry, let me just pull this up. Standard operating procedure. Now, there's a question. What's the difference between the actual custom prompt instruction and the knowledge? So basically, you've built a custom instruction so that you have a predefined instruction for the AI model to follow. But that predefined instruction is to ensure that it does review based on the guidance from this knowledge. So this knowledge is basically the source of truth for this custom AI assistant. Now, the next thing that we'll just need to do is to click save since we already have um, the instruction, the title, and also the knowledge as well. And then we'll just click start. So it will go to the custom gems. Now, we already have the custom GPT set up. So the next thing that we're going to do is to test it. Let's try to, let's say, find an invoice. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to find an invoice example. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we will download these invoices on PDF. Okay, so we have two examples. The one is the non-compliant and the one is the compliant one. So first, let's go to ChatGPT. Now, as we can see, we even have the voice model enabled here. Now, what we're going to do is you have the option to either upload the document from your device, from Google Drive, or from Microsoft OneDrive for OpenAI's ChatGPT. On our case, let's try to upload the um, document from my device. So let's try to use non-compliant. And then you have the option to either type this instruction to review the invoice or just use the conversational starter. In my case, I'll just probably use the conversation starter. And then let me just copy this instruction. And then as we can see, the custom GPT is already generating us the invoice review summary. So it says here PO-based services, two-way match required. So validation path completed, which means that the exit words showing here, it means that it's non-compliant. So it's saying here what's missing on the invoice. Let's say failed missing SES, no contract or MSA reference, cannot proceed due to failed validation. And it's giving us the key findings. The final outcome is hold, no non-compliant. Invoice cannot be approved due to multiple violations. And then it says here SOP mapped analysis, which means that it's actually trying to reconcile or compare the invoice versus to what is on the standard operating procedure. Okay, so next it's showing us global supplier and tax compliance, and then PO-based service validation, and then one-time non-PO items. And then says here amount to PHP 2889, which is equivalent to $50,000. It says here require approval, CC owner approval, site manager, finance manager approval. And then it's also giving a template response that needs to be sent to the vendor, supplier, or to the service provider. It's even asking here create an internal AP ticket summary for example, if you're using like CRMs used for ticketing like Zendesk, Intercom, Salesforce, Zoho, and so on and so forth. And then you have the option, let's say it's asking you if you want the custom AI assistant to prepare a comparison table PO versus invoice, draft a message to procurement or end user for SES follow-up. So it's up to you. Okay, so next is we're going to test it on Gemini. Now, same thing, I'll try to use the um, the option or the paperclip where I can upload the document from my device. So we'll use this non-compliant invoice, and then let's go ahead and ask the same question. And by the way, you have the option to switch either through fast or through thinking with pro. But remember that whenever you're actually choosing the more powerful AI model, which means that it consumes more tokens. So if you think that you don't need, if you only have like questions or a much simpler task that you want the AI model to do, I suggest for you to use the lighter AI model, which is usually the fast model. Okay, so as we can see, the GEMS is already telling us that based on the strict guidelines of the standard operating procedure, it says here, invoice summary review, invoice category. It's giving us like it's in review summary and analysis. It says here SOP compliance is non-compliant. DOA requirement $50,000 and above requires approval from cost center owner or BMFS site finance manager, which is similar to what custom GPT provided to us. And then it says here SOP mapped analysis, and then status failed, and then global supplier tax compliance, PO based services validation, ad hoc non-compliant items review, delegation of authority, which means that it's already giving us the information. If the amount is such and such and this may require approval, it should be approval by this person. For example, since it's already $51,000 approximate, so it means as per the SOP that was given, it should be under a site finance manager's approval. And then it's also giving us the sample response or email response or whether ticket response that needs to be sent to the vendor, informing them that they need to provide a corrected invoice. Okay, so you might be wondering where these information are coming from. Note that these information are coming directly from the prompts that from the custom prompt instruction that we built, which is this one. And also just to set expectation that your prompt instruction may vary depending on your use case, your policy, and then also how your process has been curated or built. What's important is you have these following key components at least on your custom prompt instruction. Now, we're going to test the one invoice that is compliant. So what we're going to do, let's try to see if we can just probably try new chat. Okay, there you go. Now this time we're going to upload the compliant invoice. And then in my case, I'll just go ahead and uh, use this conversation summary or just type this. It's up to you if you wanted to just type it manually or just use this. And then we're just going to clear the chat. Just go to Invoice AI Invoice Review. And then same thing, I can upload the actual document here. I'll just probably use, well, I can just use the thinking mode. It's up to you if you wanted to use this or not. But remember again that the more powerful AI model you're using, it consumes more tokens. So let's be mindful of the resources that we're utilizing. Okay, so as we can see, it's reviewing the invoice. And same goes here, it says here, I can review it, but I don't see the invoice. So most likely it was not uploaded. Let's see. For some reason, it did not upload it. So here is the invoice. Okay, as we can see, ChatGPT is already starting to review the invoice. It says here it's giving the invoice category that requires mandatory two-way matching. It's key findings. It says here that the supplier details, VAT registration, invoice number is valid. And then it says here that the amount is accurate. It's saying here that the PO matches on the service description. And then it's saying here that the net terms or the payment terms is correct as per the SOP. So you can see here it's giving us SOP 3.1. Most likely it is, if we go back to the SOP, the sample SOP that we built, let's go ahead and just quickly run through with this. So if we go to SOP 3.1, it says here the general preliminary checklist. So this is where um, ChatGPT based the review for this section, which is the terms. And then also it says here SOP compliant resort. It says here SES approval required because it exceeded $50,000. So it's saying it that it requires a site finance manager approval. So the question again is, where are these coming from? It's basically coming from the actual SOP that we have built because this is the only source of truth. If you remember, we actually uploaded the knowledge, which is the SOP document that I've built. Next is we can see that it's already mapped the SOP analysis, DOA matrix, and then vendor communication. It already gave us the reason. It's saying here that the reason, even though it's compliant, it says here it's on hold. It's because it requires approval. And then it says here, action required. Please coordinate with your BMFF and user contact to ensure that SES for PO is submitted or resubmitted for accounts payable. And then again, same goes with the other response. It's giving us the option whether you want to validate the PO and SES once you upload them, prepare an internal AP processing note, or generate a DOA approval summary. If we go back to Gemini, it's doing the same thing. It says here invoice category, jurisdiction. It's giving us the checklist. It says here that it passed two-way matching. SES is pending. It's because it requires approval from the site finance manager. And then it's giving us the SOP map analysis, which is part of the instruction. And then it says here mathematical accuracy. It's giving us it's correct. And then it's saying here that it's giving us a global supplier tax compliance. It says here that it's compliant with Philippine tax laws. It's giving us the specific validation like the PO match. It says here it passed. And then SES matching, it's pending. Again, it's because it requires approval. And then the delegation of authority, which requires approval from a finance site manager and cost center owner for approval. And it's giving us the response. Okay, so same thing, the invoice is placed on hold. It's simply because it requires approval. It's not because it's non-compliant. It was able to pass the requirements based on the policies we have built or indicated based on the standard operating procedure. Okay, so I guess this is the sample use case for now. Also, we're going to provide you more examples on our upcoming demos. That's all. Thank you very much.